I'm Esther Perez, and I recently helped plan a really great bachelorette party in Fort Lauderdale. So if you're wondering how you can plan the perfect bachelorette trip, you came to the right spot. So the perfect bachelorette encompasses a couple mindsets and things, I would say. The first tip that I have with planning out this perfect bachelorette trip, whether it be a weekend or a week long, is to just always remember who this bachelorette party is for. You'd be surprised how many times I hear stories of someone planning it exactly how they would want it rather than thinking of the bride. It's about the bride. It's not about the maid of honor. It's not about the bridal party. You really have to ask the bride what she wants when it comes to a bachelorette party, whether it's night out clubbing or relaxing weekend. And if she wants matching outfits, even if you don't like the theme, lean into it because it is about the bride. Every decision really needs to come back to a question of, would the bride enjoy this? Is this something the bride would like? I feel like for me as the maid of honor, I was constantly thinking like, what would she like? What would she want to do? I made sure to not put too much of my own input into it unless I was, asked for my opinion, but really thinking about the bride. What does she expect out of this weekend? I might like X, Y, and Z and the bride might not. And that's okay. We have to do what the bride wants. So I would say the first tip really is thinking about who this weekend is for. It should not be about anyone else but the bride. My tip number 2 is let the bride be as involved as she would like. I think for myself, I am a very type A person. I am just extreme OCD. It gives me anxiety to not be involved in things, and the bride that I planned the bachelorette party for, I would never ever describe her as type A. I would say she's more relaxed, more on the chill side, pretty passive. And what surprised me most about this bachelorette planning was that she was deep in the weeds, very involved. All I did was say hey, here's a Google Doc, maybe put all your thoughts on that. But she had everything that she wanted to do. She planned out the Airbnb. She selected the Airbnb. She planned out one of the night dinners of what she wanted. So I would say involve your bride as much as she wants. Maybe your bride wants to be fully surprised, and that's really neat. If you can manage that, do it. But if you have a bride who wants to be involved, tell her about how it's going. Tell her about how the planning process is going. Tell her about some of the different questions that girls might have. Where can we maybe fill in the gaps or create an FAQ? Definitely just get her involved as much as you think she wants to be and communicate about that, because like I said, every bride is so different. Some want to be hands-off completely, some want to be involved, some want to just know what's going on. So definitely involving them as much as they feel comfortable with is the best tip. Don't just assume when someone's having a bachelorette party and you're made the maid of honor or the person in charge, don't assume that you're gonna have to do everything on your own, because like I said, every bride is just so different. My third tip is always have a backup plan or a just in case plan. And I have a story that can go along with this because I definitely am happy I had this, a just in case plan. So we landed on Thursday, and by we I mean some of us. The group actually landed on different days, but some of us landed on Thursday. And because it was gonna be a sporadic day, some were landing, some were flying standby, I had asked the bride if we should make plans, and the bride was like, no, it's gonna be a chill day. We don't have to make any plans. We'll just hang out by the pool. Nothing too formal or set in stone. And so I thought, okay, great. Luckily, I have friends in the Fort Lauderdale area who were telling me about different places to eat at. And sure enough, when it came around time to eat dinner, we were all just standing around by the pool, on our phones, trying to figure out where we're about to eat at. And some of the places that were pitched were very much chain spots. And I just remember thinking no, if we're in Fort Lauderdale, we should get a good experience of somewhere that we can't normally eat in Ohio or wherever else the girls are from. And luckily I had a just in case plan, and I pitched El Camino. If you're in Fort Lauderdale, I have to plug it. It was so good. The fresh pressed juice margaritas were amazing, and they were able to seat all 11 of us without a prior reservation. They actually don't take reservations there. So I just, showed up with my 11 girls and got us a table right away, right outside, and the service was awesome. I'm so thankful that I had that restaurant as like a backup plan in my head, because if I didn't, we would have been somewhere that maybe like didn't give us the full Fort Lauderdale experience. Tip number 4 is to decorate for your bride. So there's some brides that really want like all things Bachelorette-esque. They want the sash, they want like a crown, they want to wear like, you know, all white and everyone to know they're the bride, and like that's perfectly fine. I know my bride did not want that, and so I was like, I am not going to decorate this place with like, you know, bride signs everywhere and inflatable you know what, like that just does not align with her as a person and what she would want out of a bachelorette party. I'm really happy we communicated so much about this party, and her expectation for it really was like a girls' fun weekend. It wasn't like just bachelorette, get wild, go to a strip club, inflatable you know what. It's like she was very much like on the opposite spectrum of like, you know, I don't really want any of that. And so when I decorated for my bride, I know she loves Megan Thee Stallion, so I put up a sign that said like Hot Bride Summer. I had like stickers of her as a kid, and I think she really liked those. They were so cute. I like decorated the tequila bottles and vodka bottles and had them enough for the girls to also put some like in their pockets and take home. Make sure that, you know, it feels authentic to your bride when you're decorating. You could easily like look up on Pinterest or on Google like bachelorette party, and all of the themes are gonna look the same. It's gonna be like white, pink, naked guys, like it's all going to be the same. And so I really urge you to decorate for your bride specifically. Don't just do what you think the cliche bachelorette party decor needs to be. I think if you go the cliche route, you are very much going to be in a position where like the bachelorette party might not feel super authentic to your bride. And at the end of the day, like I said, back to tip number 1, this is about your bride, so make sure it all speaks to her as a person and what she wants out of this. Okay, give gifts people will actually use. My bride and I would say we have had some really great conversations about sustainability and gifting in general, things that like are needed, whether it be like for the wedding or for the bachelorette party. And so I was very intentional on the gifts I gave out to the girls. They had a cup that said Mimi's Bachelorette, and this cup is reusable. They were making their drinks in them all weekend. They took them home with them. Like it was just, I feel like a cup was a nice reusable gift. Other than that, sunglasses, we were in Fort Lauderdale. They were like heart sunglasses and people were actually wearing them by the pool. And then the wearable shot glasses, those are my favorite, and I actually got a lot of compliments on these. I used them at another bachelorette party years ago and I thought they were the niftiest thing ever. So I was like, I'm gonna bring those back. I know with my bride, like we're gonna be drinking and these are gonna come in handy. So once again, gift according to your bride, decorate according to your bride. Just think of things for your bride when planning the perfect bachelorette party. And my last tip of planning the perfect bachelorette party is to really keep a balanced idea of like fun and relaxation. You don't have to schedule every minute. Like I said, you can have like a just in case plan or like a backup plan. But as far as scheduling like out every single minute, every single second, like you really don't have to do that. Leave time for relaxation, leave time for chatter, leave time for like those like, you know, heartfelt one-on-one conversations that people might have here and there. Like definitely giving space for people to just like be themselves instead of it feeling like they have to be like on a schedule, really performative, you know, having to be X, Y, and Z, wearing X, Y, and Z. I think that the little moments that like weren't planned during our bachelorette party weekend were actually really nice. So you got to see a lot of the girls from different friend groups connecting with each other, having conversation. It was really like just some genuine moments. And if we were planning it like everything to a T, I don't think we would have had those genuine moments. I leave you with the thought that at the end of the day, no bride will remember where every balloon was placed when it comes to your decor. They're not gonna remember like every single detail on the itinerary of like what went wrong, what went right, but they will truly remember how they felt during the bachelorette party weekend. Was it drama filled? Was it fun filled? Was it, you know, just unorganized feeling? They'll remember exactly how they felt, how it was to spend time together, having all their loved ones or their girls all in one space. Even if they're not all familiar with each other, they'll always remember how cool it was to have all of those loved ones in the same area. And I think as long as you keep the focus on the bride, it will be an amazing bachelorette party for her. So those are my tips for planning a perfect bachelorette weekend. I can go on and on. I might make another video about like picking the right location, picking the right activities, because there's so much that goes into planning a bachelorette party. But this was very much the high level details of perfection. If you found it helpful, please drop it in the comments. If you have a bachelorette party coming up, I wish you lots of luck with it. I hope it's going well. I hope the planning has been easy and that you all have so much fun. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.